Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here, Universal Church of Light. I want to do a quick video and tell you about where I'm headed with the Michael Allmain case. Okay? I have many blogs out there. You should be able to go to your favorite search engine and just search anything on the case. I have a Facebook page and I have a chronology page, and I'm doing another chronology list more for my legal complaints. I'm filing complaints against the attorneys, the nonprofit. I've already filed one against the judge. And I'm creating a document of the chronology for everyone to see what happened. Now, I'm not getting back into investigative blogging. I don't want to report on corruption. I did it for decades. I'm done with that. Because I believe in the power of the living God, and I believe in this now moment that I create my reality with where I put my focus. And so I don't focus on corruption. I don't focus on, oh, we want them to change, right? I don't expect the judicial system to change, or the attorneys to change, or the judges, or the people in what I call the C.R. lynch mob to change. Don't expect any of that. I used to think that when I brought this much evidence to court, or when I was fighting for victims and corruption, there would be someone out there to listen. But there isn't, okay? This is not trying to change the systems and the governments of man. They're going to do what they're going to do. So why am I doing this then? Okay, so I initially started talking about this for the humanity, okay? I don't have any appreciation for your systems of man and government and helping the homeless, and you're like hurting everybody around, and you being in charge of everything, controlling everything, and this commerce that's being created from getting government grant money and then doling it out to the homeless, and then keep that going and not actually helping them. Because if there were no homeless, if there were no criminals, this system wouldn't be able to go, okay? I don't believe in any of these constructs of man, but what I believe in is the consciousness of the man. So in the Michael Allmain case, these folks were gaslighting him hugely, right? So you got hundreds of people, all the prosecutors, the police, they're stalking him, they're calls out on him all the time, they're making him, he's feeling like they're right, and he's feeling kind of crazy, and you can see in all of the emails, what I'm pointing out here is to show you how these things work, to liberate the energy of it, so that you see people as individual people, whether they live in houses or in cars, and that there's people that do bad things to animals and to each other in homes, okay? But because you can't see them, you only busybody with what you think the homeless should do. Okay, so you take their pets away from them, you gaslight them, and I'm interested in this right now because I have had profound experiences and profound reality shifts. I know the power of the living God. I know we don't die. I astral travel. I walk in other dimensions. I am not concerned with the governments of man. Do what you're going to do, okay? And all you people on what I call the lynch mob, and you do what you're going to do. The reason I'm doing this is to wrap up energy, okay, from all the blogging and stuff I did before, but not to change the system, but to give the voice to the people in the system, so that people know that hundreds of people, like all of your, like Port Townsend community page, Nextdoor site, all these different sites that are run by the more prominent people, they shut me down, they shut Michael Allmain down, they shut down people that defend their, let's say, their victim, okay? So they create an alternate reality. And what my purpose is here is to show that there's a living, breathing, sentient human being in that reality, and not just the dog, okay? The human being matters as well, okay? And to awaken people to how can we help this man heal his dog and heal the man, instead of destroying families, children, bonds, people, and fracturing consciousness. That's what I'm interested in. When you gaslight somebody years on end and stalk them and harass them and threaten to kill them, make them give up, make them turn to drugs, make them suicidal, mental anguish, that's what I'm pointing out here, because it would be hard to believe that all of these prominent people in government, prosecutors, okay, the deputies, the sheriff, the nonprofits, you would not believe they are doing this, and this one homeless man who you don't value because he's homeless, okay, that he would be telling the truth. What would be their motive? You can't believe it. So my my job here is to show you so that you can open your own consciousness and you can believe the one over the many. And you can also believe and trust yourself, okay? You don't need to believe anybody outside of yourself, okay? But the reason I'm following through on this, I have a stopping point. It's not going to go a whole lot further, but it's going to go to what I see is further. And it's not about anti-corruption. So and this is not ego here, but I know I'm really, really good at it, okay? And I have people contacting me to hire me for such because I'm an incredible investigator. I bring it all in, and spirit tells me things and things. And so I may do it again someday. But in general, after I realized that I was part of creating reality, so literally, physically, reality shifts, and what some of you might know as the Mandela effect. I'm talking about that movie, Tomorrowland, with George Clooney, right? A spoiler alert, I'll tell you the end, but they were measuring the end in the gloom and doom of time, right? Everything's going bad and everything. And then the one little glitch, because the woman was thinking different, or the teenager, whatever she was in that show. And so it's that you're not watching it play out. The powers that be have convinced you that it's a certain way, so you're projecting that version of reality. But if you step out of it and go, that's not how I see it, this is how I see it, okay? And that's kind of what we're doing. These people who did this to Michael Allmain, that's their life, and they're going to keep doing it, okay? I'm filing things just for the energy of it. I don't expect them to change their ways. They do what they do. They obviously thought it was okay to destroy this man. They had no consciousness at all. They could have took a few $1,000s and helped them both, but instead they got a $28,000 judgment. They got criminal charges. They got his dog, okay? They neutered his dog. Each puppy's worth $1,000. He could have 7 in a batch, okay? Even if you look at it commercially. They didn't care if he killed himself needing his emotional support animal, needing warmth and security. They didn't get the resources to go, I'm a nonprofit, or we're the prominent people and we're going to help this man, right? Do a fundraiser, a few $1,000s. Instead, they've probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in prosecutor fees, attorney fees. Giving him a free public attorney was probably $60,000 or $70,000, right? I think, what do you say, 120 hours, okay? The judge's hourly wage, dozens and dozens of times the police were called by all the ninnies and the prominent people. So all this money they're okay with because they want justice. They want this man brought to justice, right? When they could have served up their own justice by having humanity and helping them together. So to me, it's about the consciousness, okay? It's about dignity and humanity, and these people that will get so caught up that they don't see the person at all. They say things like, the dog looks hungry, the dog looks depressed, the dog doesn't look too bright, completely ignoring the man. They think it's fine for people to freeze to death in tents, okay? Okay? They think of them as ew, right? But they'll go and they'll save their animal, right? Why don't they take the animal and the person to the kennel? Nice warm kennel. Or in Moses' case, he's got a fireplace at the Sevar Ranch, right? They took him. Okay? After everything, they faked an auction. They bought him for $1,000. Okay? Took $1,000 off the judgment for Michael for the forced fees. And Michael still owes him $26,000. He's still got criminal charges. What they did to him was horrific. Okay? It is the deepest, darkest, horrific part of society. And I am exposing it so that every person can believe, okay? Believe, yes, they did that. They can do that. They do that to people. And this one man might be telling the truth, whether he's a billionaire or a rock star or a business owner or a prominent person, or whether he's laying in the street freezing to death and you want to look the other way. Oh, that dog needs help. That dog, no, that man doesn't exist. Let's get that dog. Okay, and if the man kills himself because you took his dog, who cares, okay? So for me, this was about saving the man, okay? Helping him to stay alive from these demonic people and showing you, the general public, that this can happen so that you're awake and aware. I'm not expecting justice within the systems of man, okay? They're going to do what they're going to do. But I'm hoping that you guys see him and people like him. I'm hoping that you see him as a living, breathing human being and that you don't look away from that. I'm hoping that a nonprofit will help them together and not destroy them to the point of his death. okay? Which he would be dead if he didn't have a couple of strong women in his life over the last year, me being one of them. I want you to see people equally. Yeah, if they're violent or horrible doing things to you, great. Whether they're in a house or in the street, okay? You want to call that out, but you would never ever guess. In general, most people wouldn't believe that hundreds and hundreds of people would be attacking this man, and in the name of rescuing his dog, and that the man would be telling the truth. Okay, it was a chronic condition. The vets testified. Okay, he couldn't deal with it. Okay, and he had a lot of stress and anxiety and things going on in his life, and this was a chronic, uncurable condition. Help a guy out. But instead, they'd rather spend hundreds of thousands of dollars destroying people than helping them and keeping their system going. Okay, the navigator, nothing. The OliCap shelter, yep, I bring OliCap into everything because I experienced something horrific at that shelter. Okay, and I watched the people hurt each other, and I watched yelling, and I watched people of all different ages, and the discrimination against gays. And when they'd call the police for help, no one would help them because, well, that doesn't happen here. They want the prominent people to think we're doing good things down here, right? That's not my experience. And I'm not talking about OliCap like the building, the housing. I'm talking about the shelter, okay? Now, but they're just an example, okay, of a nonprofit, CVAR or OliCap. If they get $7 million a year, as OliCap does, why not use some of that to help people together? Sarah, the director of Center Valley Animal Rescue, testified that even if Michael would have brought Moses up there and he was suffering, she wouldn't have helped him unless he gave the dog to her. His life, his heart, he can't function without it, okay? So I want you to see these people and help them together. No, I don't want you to go up to every homeless person and their dog and try to help them today, okay? But don't help them separate. If you can't help them together, leave them alone, okay? This wrap-up of energy here, yes, I'm bringing out my old skills of investigative blogging, and I am very good at it, okay? I told the prominent people last spring, you better not have any skeletons in your closet, okay? It's not okay what you have done to this man. Okay? It's not okay to destroy people in the name of your latest project for your nonprofit because you're bored in your houses and you don't know the power of the living God and you don't know who you are and you don't have no connection to Mother Earth, so you turn on this man to destroy him when you could have easily just went in and lifted him up. 2% of this mob could have lifted him up, but instead they all come down to squish him. Okay? Michael Allmain is an example. Okay? It's for you to know. You can take this story and understand what happens and what can happen, or leave it. Once I let go and give it to God, give it to Goddess, give it to the Great Spirit, it's up to you, folks. You do what you want. You want to keep the same prosecutor? That's up to you. You want that judge? It's up to you. You want another one to come in and do the same thing? That's up to you. Okay? They're your people. They're your system. I don't live in the system of the governments of man, okay? I have my own church. I have my own government. Okay, I know God. I know Goddess. I know death. I've walked on the other side. I've died and I've come back. And by the way, so is Michael. He's died and come back. And I don't mean that metaphorically. Okay, the spiritual world, the creator gods, what is going on is so much bigger than this. And you guys can look beyond it or not. But what this case wrap up, I'm cleaning up energy about the most important commerce in the world, which is human dignity, human warmth. Okay, no art project, no porch project, nothing you do is more important than every person having housing. And not your controlled housing. Oh, you want to live here? Well, you got to fill out these papers. You can't have this guest. You can't do that. There's no housing to just get into and just be there, okay? Why can't you just leave people alone, okay? If they're breaking the law, hurting other people, okay, if they're not being sovereign and live and let live, they got to go. But all the hoops so these people, mostly in general, the homeless in the cars, wherever, they live outside of the matrix. They live outside of their system. And when you bring them into that system, it's frustrating. And then when you don't hear them, like you're like, nope, these 200 people and everybody in the whole government wouldn't lie. So you're lying and you gaslight them and then they go crazy and they flip and then they do violent, weird things in public, or they throw rocks at cars, or they rip off signs, or do things. They're like, oh, they've done something very bad. Well, you've been gaslighting them for 3 years and they finally popped and they threw a rock. Okay, then you make them look like the demons when they're the demons, okay? So I want you to see it. I'm providing transparency. What you do with it, Port Townsend, that's yours, okay? That's between you and your God, your Great Spirit, okay? For me, I know Mother Earth. I know the land. I know life. I know death. I don't fear any of you. You know, if you want to threaten to kill me, threaten to jail me, you know, y'all shut me up in every site. You took away this person standing up for a total stranger, which Michael was to me. You completely took me off all your sites. You completely shut down the one voice speaking loud. Okay? And then other people speak about and try to support him, and then you delete them. Okay? I have 5,000 blogs. Okay? I've been doing this for decades. I'm not going to be silenced. And so as this was happening, I decided to go ahead and roar it because I could and I had those skills. It was shocking to me. All I thought I was doing was bearing witness. I saw a guy that was feeding his dog every day and every night. I saw his dog stand beside him for hours. I saw him interact with people every day and every night for years, and then sometimes during the day at Safeway. So that's what I knew about this guy. Didn't know his name. I didn't know if he'd robbed a store or if he was a billionaire, or, you know, I didn't know anything about that. If he used to be a billionaire and now he's living in a car, I don't know. I don't know nothing about what's going on with him, but I know how he is with his dog. So when people said these things he did with his dog, I witnessed that every day long term. So that's what I was testifying to. I had no idea it was this deep. I had no idea that this Facebook, this what I call the Center Valley Animal Rescue Lynch Mob thread, all these people threatening to kill him and drag him and deleting his side. The Poor Townsend community page doing the same thing. The Next Door site doing the same thing. And then all the prosecutors, deputies, commissioners, okay, city attorney. I had no idea that it would be this big, because that would not be sensical to me at all. Why would, I mean, you can see a nonprofit going, they're working up the community, and that's what I thought it was. But to have all the government agencies involved in all this gaslighting, tormenting to drive people crazy, I noticed it's a thing. Okay? It's something that is done to the homeless, a lot of them. And so do what you want. I'm not going to go talk about them all. I have another little pet project that Spirit brought me in this, which is that Michael James guy in town, because he's been criminally trespassed like 7 times, okay? It's illegal to criminally trespass off of public property. So I probably will be reporting on that one. But the idea is about humanity and consciousness, okay? Again, this is your government, it's not mine, okay? I don't care what they do, okay? If they arrested me tomorrow, you know, I just leave it up to Spirit. I don't know if they give me, you know, I mean, they tried to harass me, put tickets on my car, you know, as soon as, right after OLICAP, you know, messaged the prosecuting attorney, they ticketed my car. They're like, you know, they want to, I'm a voice now, so they want to harass and scare me. So they threatened to take my car that I was living in, which is illegal, because under the Homestead Act, your car is your home. They can't tow it. They can't do that. They have to give you a payment plan, okay? They can't search your car. There's a lot of laws they violate because they're the prominent people, right? And they want to scare the homeless, okay? So because I have a voice, I used it. And what you guys do with the information's on your own. I don't answer to them. None of them. The cops can harass me, push me around, jail me. You know, I'm done. 20 years I was in that system, investigating, blogging. I seen how it all works, and I'm not going to play in that system. There's no way to win. Michael didn't win, okay? They got him every which way. Each judge played the part, each attorney, all the community, everybody, they get what they want, okay? I don't care. I don't care. But you, the individual consciousness of the person out there that's getting this information, I'm not trying to work you up and get you to fight for his dog. His dog's gone, okay? What I want you to do is to see people, whether they live in a house or not, just see them breathing in and out. To care about that breath more than you do about this long scroll of laws of man, of people that are willing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to destroy a man to prove their point, when they could have spent under $5,000 for dental work and long-term cream for his incurable, which he still has, allergy that caused his skin problem. Now, these monsters that live among you are out there all the time. But now there's more of you that'll see them. And I hope this story goes global. Because the one thing about this story that people can relate to is the love of another sentient being, whether it be a child or a dog. The love, and I'm not an animal person. I've been there, done that, had dogs, had shelter dogs. I've done it, experienced it. It's not what I want. The people that are anchored in their dogs and that's their family and that's their everything, you know, there's no reason you can't help them together. But their system of commerce runs on destroying that person. And I'll bet there's not one of you out there, because I'm in that too, that would have believed all of these people that I'm exposing would have been telling a lie, and this one man telling the truth. This one man that they didn't value because they said, he's a druggie, he's a loser, lives in a car, look at his dog. Because he went through a breakup, he had a heartache, he went through something, and they demonize him. And if someone's going through depression in a house and alcoholics or on drugs or doing whatever they're doing in a house, everybody leaves them alone, right? You see dogs escape all the time. You see people do weird things to dogs. I've seen dogs bite people downtown Port Townsend. I've told the police they give the dog back to the person. Okay, it's just about who you know and who you owe. Okay, so my mission with the wrap up of this case, and yeah, I'm filing criminal complaints and things in the system, but I'm doing that in energy through the power of the living God, in order to awaken the mass consciousness of the humanity involved. And what you do with your governments and your systems of man, I do not care. I leave that to you and your God and your goddess and your spirit, okay? What I'm putting out there is the intention of next time somebody out there sees that man with that dog, bring them both into focus. Not just that dog, he looks sad, call the police, call the police, call the police. Incident report after incident report. The Center Valley Animal Rescue had people call the police on Michael, stalking him, threatening to kill him, okay? He was suicidal. He'd post for help for suicidal on the next door site. And Julie St. Marie would come in and be like, look at the facts, okay? And other people would be like, the facts that Crystal's posting are irrelevant. They're not even about, I don't care, okay? I have nothing to prove to you. Then why am I proving it? For the consciousness of the soul of mankind. Okay? Take it or leave it, Port Townsend. They're your people, they're your governments, they're not mine. Okay? I don't operate in the governments of man. All right, on that note, check out michaelallmain.blogspot.com, centervalleyanimalrescue.blogspot.com. I got a new one called Michael Allmain Case Chronology.blogspot.com, and you should be able to Google any of this. And like I said, really, pray about this and what it means to you personally. Just like my writing or anybody's writing, it's not about what the author meant, right? It's about what it means to you. So if you're watching my stuff on the Michael Allmain case, it's about what it means to you. What does it change in your life, okay? I'm just a messenger, okay? I'm showing you everything that's said. People are like, why do you got to say it with this? Why can't you just present the facts? Well, I bring out the clips and say certain things to get public interest in it, but also to show you what's really happening, okay? As part of the awakening and the healing, because all that matters is the consciousness of that man. Michael was the only thing that mattered in this, okay? Everybody that harassed him constantly could have helped him just as easily. Okay? Things to think about, folks. Things to think about.